Okay, this video is about inverters, solar inverters. In particular, the Cen-Tech, which Harbor Freight puts out or sells. They have quite a few different types, from 100 watt all the way up to over 1,000 watts. Um, That's a 400 watt. I disconnected that to hook up a 700 watt because the fan motor was running all the time to run my electronics. Okay, and it's where your positive lead and negative lead from your battery hooks up there. But the fan was running constantly. Okay, the 400 watt, it has the two AC, 120 volt AC outlets and a USB port. And you know, it's a modified sine wave. It's not pure sine wave, but these are really dirt cheap. Okay, what I did was, because the fan motor was running constantly, I went to the 750 watt inverter by Centek. And now the fan motor doesn't run at all. I didn't need that much power. Even the 400 watt was more than double what I normally use in my electronics. But I went to this because, well, with the 20% off, every 2 weeks Harbor Freight usually has a 20% off coupon. I only paid $35 for a 750 watt inverter, which basically, you know, converts your 12 volt DC battery to 120 volt AC to run all your 120 volt AC appliances. Okay, and electronics and stuff. And here I've got it hooked up to a cutoff switch going to the battery. So if I ever have to disconnect this, I just turn this off so there's no juice going here. Harbor Freight also sells these. The battery disconnects. Now what I'm running off of this, up here, that's my antenna. I have a crank up antenna on the RV. And that's a 12 volt cigarette lighter hookup. That's my amplifier going to my antenna on top of the RV. Okay, this is a transformer for my laptop computer that's hooked up in there. This is a USB connector to charge up USB devices like my cell phone, etc. This plug here, that's 120 volt AC, just like this is to my laptop. This is going to I should get a light out here so you can see it. That's just going to like a power bridge there to hook up other 120 volt AC components. And I'd recommend using one with a breaker. You know, a voltage breaker. If you ever get a voltage spike or whatever, use a power strip that can protect your devices. Okay, that's the antenna amplifier. It's also running the 750 watt. Cen-Tech is running 4 outside cameras, waterproof cameras that I have on my RV. Are running through there. And it's a pretty sophisticated camera system. It works at night too. It's got infrared. It's got motion detectors to turn on and off automatically, and even send an alarm inside here. Okay, now I've got a widescreen TV running off that 750 watt Cen-Tech. Like I said, I was doing this all with the 400 watt. You really don't need much. It's just that the smaller wattage Cen-Techs, the fans tend to run all the time. So I went to this, I got it on sale, like I said, for 35 bucks. So might as well go overkill and not have to hear that annoying fan running, turning on and off. Okay, so anyway, I got a widescreen TV running. I've got a speaker system up here hooked up to the TV so I could get more sound out of the system. I've got my laptop computer running off of this. Okay, that's running off of it. And I have running off the laptop, I have my scanner running off the laptop, and I also have my computer printer hooked up to the laptop. There's Yodata. Well, that Yoda. A good friend of mine sent me this as a Christmas card last year, because I was out here in Arizona last winter in my shorts. So he says, shorts you wear, envy I have. And that was sent by my good friend Bob in Massachusetts. So I still got that hanging up there. Also, I have 2 DVD players. The newer Blu-ray DVDs and the older DVD player that plays the older style. Okay, so that's also running all off of literally initially a 400 watt inverter, but like I say, go into Harbor Freight, you get a 750 watt Cen-Tech inverter with the 20% off, 35 bucks. I'm real happy with it. The fan's never turned on, because even though this all looks like a lot, it's all electronics. Doesn't draw much power, and I never figured it out. I think I might have figured it out at 150 watts to run everything. You know, it doesn't require much, and even though this is a modified sine wave, not a pure sine wave, most electronics don't need pure sine wave inverters. When you need the pure sine wave is when you're running heavy inductive loads. That would be power tools, compressor motors on refrigerators, compressor motors on air conditioners, you know, stuff that draws a lot of wattage. You know, that's where your pure sine wave is really important. But electronics generally, there's no inductive loads. Or there might be a tiny little fan in a device, but it's very small. A big, huge fan, you definitely want to have a pure sine wave inverter. Okay, otherwise, these very inexpensive modified sine wave inverters work great, and they're super cheap. I mean, a 750 watt pure sine wave inverter would run probably a couple $100 versus 35 bucks. So anyway, that's really all I wanted to get into on this video. You know, I've got battery bank, 3 batteries hooked up in parallel, just the cheap Walmart. They're 100 bucks each, the Deep Cycle Marines, and those I have being charged by the Harbor Freight 100 watt panels, and that's right there. You charge 3 charge controllers that could come from 300 watts outside, and that's going down into my battery bank, and then the battery bank is supplying the inverter here. So you don't have to go mega bucks to get your system running, but if you want to run really powerful equipment, high inductive loads, like I said, your power tools, your refrigerators, freezers, air conditioners, that kind of stuff is very high inductive loads. You really want to go to pure sine wave. Pay the extra money and get the pure sine wave inverter instead. But just doing your electronics, like I say, I got all this stuff hooked up, a lot of stuff here. And I was doing it with the 400 watt inverter, but like I say, I just didn't like hear the fan going off all the time. So anyway, hopefully this was of some use, some helpful hints here on the Cen-Tech inverters sold by Harbor Freight Tools. And this is